thank you. We're now moving on to the question from Assembly Member Baker, TfL procurement.
Can I thank the member for her question? TfL is subject to the Local Government Act 1972, which requires its board-level meetings to be held in public with papers made public in advance. Meetings are also live-streamed for transparency. Only certain materials are exempt from publication, with strict legal requirements to be met if information can't be shared. TfL is committed to transparency and publishes information in line with the Local Government Transparency Code. In terms of TfL's procurement processes, these align with my responsible procurement policy for social value, diversity and sustainability. TfL publishes a huge amount of data on a range of subjects, including contracts, expenditure, how reliable services are, customer satisfaction, journey data and financial performance. The TfL Finance Committee and Programmes and Investment Committee typically approves major procurements. Reports of these decisions are presented to the full board. A summary of the major forthcoming procurements or contract extensions is also presented at the Finance Committee and Programmes and Investment Committee, including significant procurements that will require approval at officer level. Along with the rest of the board, I'll continue to ensure that TfL continues to deliver the world-class transfer system in an open and transparent way, whilst also achieving value for money.
Thanks very much, Mr. Mayor, and I absolutely agree that the TfL board is a hugely important layer of the transparency and accountability of Transport for London. I want to ask specifically, several recent TfL contracts have been approved by the Chair's action by the Chair of Finance Committee on the recommendation of TfL officers. Do you think that this generally should be an exception rather than a regular occurrence, so that continues to have that transparency and oversight?
Yeah, I think she raises a really important. The member raises a really important issue, and it should be the exception, not the norm. There's a reason why these meetings are held in public, subject to the commercial sensitivities, and the reason why it's better a group of people taking actions rather than an individual. There may be occasions where a deadline falls in between meetings, and what's got to happen is there's advance notice of when an agreement's got to be reached. Colleagues in the committee are able to challenge any decision made by the chair, but also the board has an opportunity to raise issues as well. But it's really important we provide that confidence to the public, but also avoid aspersions being cast. I'm not casting aspersions, nor is she, by the way, about officers' own prejudices, small p, affecting decisions. So I think her sentiment's spot on.
That reassurance is appreciated. I just want to ask also a specific question on a contract. In the recent announcement of the tube cleaning service being awarded to Mighty, there included a commitment to a comprehensive pilot to understand the necessary steps to deliver these services in-house in an efficient, affordable and productive manner in the future. Obviously, this is really positive given your and certainly our long-held ambition to ultimately insource the tube cleaners. Are you able to give us information either now, because it's probably quite detailed, or after the meeting about what this pilot will involve, and specifically whether it's actually going to involve insourcing some members of staff or whether it's going to be in some other form?
Can I thank the member for a question? She's had a long interest in this issue, as indeed I have, for reasons that are well rehearsed in public. Look, the end goal for me is to bring in-house all cleaners. I want us to directly employ them. Over the last 9 years, we've massively improved their terms and conditions. We've supported them in terms of the remuneration they receive, in terms of policies around sick pay, in terms of travel and so forth. I want us to go even further and be their direct employers. For a variety of reasons, we can't do that now. And we've got a private company who's going to be doing this for the short term at least. We'll see how long the contract. We know the terms of the contract. Within that, we want to work with our fantastic cleaners and the trade unions that represent them to see if we can have as a comparator, sort of piloting the possibility of directly employed TfL staff cleaning. And it's not just the station and the tracks, there's the offices, the depots and so forth and so forth. So I can't give you details now. For obvious reasons, we want to share that publicly and stuff. It's a discussion to be had with the private contractor, TfL, the workers, the trade unions. But I'm really hopeful because it's the first time that we've managed to get to this position. And I, as I said to you, my ends, I want to telegraph publicly so everyone knows what my ends are. And let's try and work towards that.
That's really positive, and yes, when you are able to share details, that would be really welcome. Back to you, Chair.
We're now moving to the next question in the name of Assembly Member Bakari.
Thanks for your question, as ever. Since 2023, I've been extremely proud that we fund nutritious and healthy free school meals for all London state primary school children to support children and families at a time of increased financial pressure and help improve children's education. I'm also proud to say that for as long as I am Mayor, this will continue. The government's expansion of the national eligibility criteria to include pupils whose households are on the universal credit is something to celebrate. This is a much more welcome uplift from the current eligibility threshold, a household income of just £7,400 per year, which has excluded many families who are struggling. It rightly recognises that free school lunches not only provide much needed financial relief, but also improve the lives of children and their families, positively influencing health and well-being. This government expansion will mean from September, more pupils from households with universal credit will also benefit, saving more London families up to £500 per child each year. With this expansion of the national eligibility criteria, it's even more important that pupils eligible for the government scheme are registered. Registration secures vital pupil premium funding for schools and ensures families receive the benefits they're entitled to. So it's essential to ensure that all eligible families fill out the necessary forms. City Hall has helped boroughs simplify the process, and councils are now required to have a system in place to ensure all eligible pupils are registered. In London, we're starting to see what a difference this can make. So far, over 9,000 eligible pupils have been identified through this approach. Registering these missed pupils means schools could benefit from more than £11.5 million of additional funding from the government each year to support the education of disadvantaged pupils. I'll continue championing more automated registration approaches to ensure no child is missed. I know from personal experience what a difference these meals make. Ensuring that every child in a state-funded primary school has access to a hot, nutritious meal every day is one of my proudest achievements as Mayor. Late last year, we celebrated an incredible 100 million meals funded, benefiting up to 270,000 children across London.
Thank you. And it was good to hear that you had no regrets on the Lib Dem policy of free schools in primary schools. But we do know that the GLA is saying that they no longer need to draw from the £50 to £60 million reserves each year. So I'd like to know if you're going to be able to use that money to redeploy it to support child poverty in another way, perhaps actually focusing on the persistent issue of holiday hunger. Are you hoping that the Holiday Hope Initiative and the new Family Financial Resilience Partnership could be something that could actually resolve this issue?
Look, we already give a lot of support towards holiday hunger, supporting great initiatives, not just the Mayor's Fund, but also projects like Felix and many others. I'm not sure of the number she mentions. We'll know the universal credit figures in spring. The funding from the government doesn't come into play until September, so I think we'll have to wait and see what difference it makes in terms of the numbers the members talking about, and then clearly bear in mind the huge budget constraints everyone in the public sector has, how we use any savings.
And will you make sure that you will be consulting the team on this? The CFO, when they were questioned about how you're going to be using your reserve funds, didn't have pretty much any idea of what you were planning to do. So what's your thinking in terms of how you're going to be approaching this and making sure that that team is fully consulted?
I think you may need to wait until we are before the Budget and Performance Committee at the plenary, where we set out details of our budget for 26-27.
And finally, as free school meals are definitely a question that is related to the budget, and we've just been hearing from the Conservative group about their concerns about job losses. Will you, Mr. Mayor, join me in offering sympathy to Robert Jenrick, who I understand has just lost his job today? Poor Rob. Kemi and Rob aren't friends anymore.
P45.
I've been busy answering questions from members of the Assembly this morning, but if the member wants to elaborate on what's happened to Robert Jenrick, I'm more than happy for us to listen.
Well, let's see what happens with Robert Jenrick. I must say his name correctly one day. Robert Jenrick, yeah. But I do understand that the Reform Party is now becoming some sort of retirement home for Tories at the moment. So we'll see if he goes over there.
Chair, my observation is that it's all gone very quiet amongst the Tory group.
No, they're welcome to. They're absolutely welcome to. No mistake.
I'm more than happy to answer any questions from the Tories about Robert Jenrick if they've got any, Chair.
Yeah, they're welcome to. We're very much.